Hello and welcome to the Political Frontline. My guest today is Head of Political Science Department of Kyiv-Mohyla Academy, Demianchuk Alexander. Alexander, welcome to the Political Frontline.
Thank you.
Alexander, let's start with the Crimea. Does the Kremlin has any plan for Crimea?
Seems that they had some plans, and these plans were quite consistent. Especially, it's evident on their behavior, on their actions in Donbass. So Crimea had to be, or was planned to be, an integral part of Russia, and it was initially an integral part of Russia, but then when it had appeared that it was very difficult, and now to me it's evident it's impossible to break through a corridor from Russia to Crimea. So the Crimea has lost its importance for Russia. And now we see that
maybe it was planned previously that Kremlin wants to make such a very big military base there.
It's my impression that Crimea never interested Russia, never interested President Putin, with only one correction. It interested Putin as one of the means for destroying or suppressing Ukraine. Mm-hmm. We know that Crimea is heavily dependent on the supply of water, of electricity from Ukraine, from mainland Ukraine. And taking off Crimea had to be compensated by the supply of these resources if it happened that the power forces in Ukraine would remain the same as before. So Yanukovych forces. When it appeared that the political situation and social situation in Ukraine drastically changed, so Crimea has lost its attractiveness. Mm-hmm. To Putin, yes. First of all, attractiveness. Mm-hmm. So, and now Putin, in his interview to the Russian population, said about a couple of words only about Crimea, and it was something like, well, everything is okay and there is nothing to talk about.
Do you agree with the statement that Ukraine will get Crimea back when Russia will perish?
Well, actually, I'm sure that Crimea will be back to Ukraine. The question is when. How long time will flow, and in what conditions we will receive Crimea back. Because, well, we know that now Crimea is in the process of destroying its economy. The agriculture suffers significantly, drastically suffers from lack of water. So what will happen in next several years, it's difficult to say. The industrial enterprises also suffer significantly from the embargo or from the sanctions from the European Union or from other countries. We know that several ships were arrested by Ukraine because they violated the forbid of entering the Crimean ports. So all of this creates a situation for Crimea that there are only two results. One is to die and another is to get back to Ukraine.
Every day we receiving the information that Putin sent more troops, more weapons to Donbas region. What are the plan of such actions?
It's difficult to tell about the Putin's plans because even the best psychiatrists would not be in a position to answer your question. But nevertheless, I think that now the main idea of sending more troops is to constantly feed the situation of threat to Ukraine. So I'm not sure that Putin will begin a full-scale aggression on Ukraine, both in Donbas and along the other part of Ukrainian-Russian border. Now sending troops to Donbas plays a main role to keep Ukraine alert all the time.
You mean to keep Ukraine unstable?
Unstable, first of all, economically. Also, there is a very significant factor that Ukraine's people, volunteers, and those who are taken to the Ukrainian army, these people, the moods against the military situation, against the military actions, this mood increases, and Putin and Russia counts on reaching boiling point in the society, which will just take off current power, current state administration, and it will be actually the best result for Russia, because in this case Ukraine very quickly will become significantly hardly dependent on Russia.
So the Putin wants control, but he don't need control on Crimea, on Donbas. He needs control on Kiev.
Right. Actually, his actions, military or economic actions in Crimea or in Donbas, are just directed on making as big damage to Ukrainian economy, to Ukrainian social sphere as possible.
Ukraine received valuable support from US and EU, but some say it's not enough. What should Ukraine maybe ask more?
Well, first of all, I think that the assistance from the aid from Western countries to Ukraine is very big, and there is another question: how well this aid, this assistance, is used by the Ukrainian public administration, by the Ukrainian cabinet of ministers, president, etc. And so. At the same time, the structure of this aid, of this assistance, is that now we maybe more need two things. One is just weapons or some means against some defense weapons, and another is so-called soft power or soft assistance. I mean, coming good advisors, controllers over the Ukrainian economic, social reforms. So this is what Ukraine needs most of all.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany said that both parties must move on and they must organize elections on the Donbas region. What's your opinion about this statement, and does these two parties ready to elections?
Well, it's very easy for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Germany to say this because, well, they are just a part of the process, and they don't stay in between the two.
They are not on the front line.
Right. They don't stand between the two enemies, I would say. What is necessary now, what is necessary for the normal election, local elections in Donbass? First of all, it's a real possibility, a real atmosphere of free expression of people's will. It's, to my mind, it's impossible if there are a lot of groups of armed people who follow you, who monitor your opinion, your voting, who may at any moment shoot and to scare the...
They just use power as their first step.
Right, and actually, it is not good for expressing willingness, expressing public opinion of people in Donbass. If not, what is the reason, what is the sense of arranging the elections if these elections will be for nothing, actually? I may predict, from now, I may predict the result of such elections, 57% of opposition bloc and another 43% of pro-Russian parties. That's all. So, because of it, it's unreasonable for Ukraine to arrange any local elections in Donbass. From Russia's side, Russia is not interested in arranging the
peaceful resolving of this.
Actually, it is not interested in any democratic process in the territory of Donbass. Because any democratic processes mean that those troops, those people who are sent from Russia will lose immediately or constantly will lose their power on this region, and in this case Donbass will be lost by Russia as the region, as the means for influence on Ukraine.
We will continue in our next step of our program.
Okay.
My guest today is Doctor of Political Science, Head of Political Science Department of Kyiv-Mohyla Academy, Demianchuk Olexandr. Demianchuk, as you know, soon is the Day of Remembrance, so-called the Victory Day, the 9th of May. And Putin wants to celebrate it grandly. But when we can compare this Russia, for example, to Germany, it's obvious that Russia became not Nazi country because it uses the same tools as Nazi Germany have used in the 20th century. What's your opinion about all this?
Well, first of all, you are right that Russia now behaves itself as a Nazist country. And, you know, in mass media, several sites, several quotes of Putin's words were shown, which almost to every word, every letter coincide with what was said by Hitler. And this is one thing. And another thing is that Germany, well, as a country, as a nation, significantly suffered from from Nazist regime. And now it is impossible for the leaders of this country to come to Moscow for celebrating the victory over Nazists by neo-Nazists. So by the country which now shows itself as a new Nazist regime. So as for the other leaders of Western countries, well, actually, mostly those countries took part in the Second World War. But Putin plans to celebrate not the Second World War victory, but the victory in so-called Great Patriotic War, which actually was important, was led by the Soviet Union, but much less by another countries, even of the Eastern Bloc. Poland, Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia those times, or Romania, Bulgaria. And now we see that these countries are more eager to celebrate victory in the Second World War than in the Great Patriotic War.
But what's your real opinion? Should the world leaders visit Moscow, or should they not visit?
It's too strong.
Let's pretend such scene. Let's pretend that I'm the Prime Minister of Netherlands, and you are my advisor, and I'm asking you about, Alexander, should I visit Moscow on the 9th of May, or should I not?
Well, as an advisor, I would say no way.
No way.
Yeah.
I think the same situation. All advisors of the old world leaders say the same.
But okay, I answered as your advisor, as
Yes.
the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. But at the same time, you know, there is another very significant and very important thing, that Russia is now not in the hot situation, in the hot war with the world. And if there are any means, any instruments to stop Russia from aggression, to stop Russia from Nazist behavior, so the countries, the leaders should take these actions, should use these instruments. So because of this, it would be good if the maybe not all, but several Western leaders would visit Moscow, not to take part in the parade on the 9th of May, but to show their memory, to show their how to say it? Sorry. Commemoration of the victims of the Second World War, and so to show the solidarity with the people who had who survived and so big burden of the Second World War.
I'm positive that so-called Nazi bloc has many ex-veterans or veterans, and all these world leaders can stay in their countries and share this with their old people.
Well, we saw the meeting in St. Petersburg, where a lot of representatives of Nazist or nationalistic parties, right-wing parties from many countries met together, and it was is described by the observers as the meeting of the Nazists. So, you know, for the people of goodwill, as we say, for the people of the democratic mood, it's much more evident that it's better now to celebrate in their own countries. I was not surprised that Batska Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, decided to stay in Minsk and to take part in the parade in Minsk, because Belarus lost about 1/4 of its population during the Second World War. It's a huge amount, and so the same would be with many people, many other leaders of European countries who had also a lot of victims, a lot of lost in the Second World War.
As you have mentioned that we must stop Putin, but as we can observe that sanctions can't stop his actions. What's your opinion? What is the tool that can stop Russia? Maybe nuclear bomb?
No, no. I think the only mean is Russia itself. It's impossible. The country is very big. The population is significantly, as sociologists and political scientists say, the population is significantly atomized. And for the leaders of this country, it's very easy to mobilize the population on any actions, including any kind of war. So to stop Putin by the military forces means to bring terrible losses in the population, among the people. So it's impossible for the Western democracies to kill so huge amount of people. So it's not a solution of this situation. So the only possible instrument is just doing by soft power.
Do you believe in diplomacy as soft power?
Not so much. Not so much, because, well, we see Sergei Lavrov, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia, who lies and not becomes pale or not taking eyes back. So we know that diplomacy in this case is forceless. So because of this, again, something like your TV channel, a lot of another information flow channels, medias, which could show the Russians, well, the negative aspects of their life, negative aspects of Putin's or any other leader who is at power in Russia. So the only force which can stop all of this is Russia.
So Russia can stop Russia.
Right.
And maybe the last question, because we have no more time. Do you have your own recipe how to resolve the conflicts?
No, I don't. Because, you know, it's so difficult to suggest, to offer any consolidated recipe, because, well, the situation is so manifold, many-dimensional. We have political, economic, social, cultural, language, etc., aspects which differ Ukraine from Russia, which actually put some obstacles, barriers on the Russian mentality, and Russians in many cases can't understand us, can't understand the Western leaders. Just 2 days ago, I communicated with my nephew. She lives in St. Petersburg, and well, it was something terrible. She was born in Ukraine. She spent more than 20 years here in Ukraine, and then she left for Russia. And now her opinion, her views, her attitudes are significantly different from ours. But at the same time, when we communicated with her, I saw tears in her eyes. So she begins to understand that maybe she is not so right supporting Putin's regime.
So, Alexander, on that note, Doctor of Political Science, Head of Political Science Department of Kyiv-Mohyla Academy, Demianchuk Olexandr. Thanks for being on Political Frontline.
Thank you for your attention.